think I like this glaze better than I made it before. Oh, hi, we're filming. Hey, guess what? It's the holidays. Well, we're having a little late holiday meal this time of year. But, hey, better late than never, I always say. And a lot of these recipes you remember from my past episodes of Cooking with SonicBlu. Today, I present to you Holiday Cooking with SonicBlu. And now, let us introduce you to tonight's recipes. After I'm done glazing the first run of my ham, be very careful not to disturb these pineapple rings, which are only held on by cloves. And as you know, working with cloves is pretty tricky. So we're just going to do what we did before and just kind of dab the glaze onto the ham, so that way it's as delicate of a process as possible. And be sure to get down in the cracks where we have scored our ham. You remember this procedure, I'm sure. If you do not remember what we have done with this ham, then check out my other video on how to cook a pineapple glazed ham. We are repeating the same recipe here on Holiday Cooking with SonicBlu, and we are just going to cover as much of this glaze as possible for our first run. And it always helps to have a silicone brush handy when you are glazing a ham. This ham has been cooking for about over an hour, and I say it's high time we put the glaze on. This will be going back into the oven, and I will show you the other things that we're going to be cooking and already have prepared for, as you could already see. And yes, folks, as bad as it is on my back, I am single-handedly preparing tonight's meal, which is not an easy task, but for the love of cooking and good eating, I'm willing to do it. Putting this aside for the moment, I'm going to put this back into the oven to bake for 15 minutes. Carefully into the oven it goes. Wow, what a beautiful ham. Alright, now you remember my recipe on twice baked potatoes, I'm sure too. And we have a luscious supply of twice baked potatoes. This one has a green onion in it, this batch does not. And it depends on the guests and what they like. It's always best to go with both to be on the safe side, because you want everybody to enjoy what you make, but not everybody likes green onion. But everybody loves cheese. So both of these batches have plenty of sharp cheddar cheese on the very top, not to mention mixed into the potato. What else is a good idea to make for holidays? Well, if you're lost for ideas, just take a page from tonight's episode of Holiday Cooking with SonicBlu. As you know, we got the ham in the oven, we got our twice baked potatoes up in here. We also have ingredients to make green bean casserole, which includes green beans, French cut preferably, cream of mushroom soup, a little shot of milk, and some French's onion. And you've got yourself a casserole that just cannot be beaten. So easy to put together. The only problem with that is we're only down to 1 can of French-style green beans. We need more of these. So chances are we won't be able to make that tonight. If we do, it'll be just a little tiny amount. But we'll make do with whatever we got. Over here we got some just regular plain old stovetop stuffing. Now I figure it's okay, and every once in a while, if you want to cheat in the kitchen by making something not from scratch. And that seems to be the case for my stuffing. I just put together stovetop stuffing. What could be easier than stovetop? All you need is a saucepan, some water, boiled, and then that stovetop, mix it together, and you got instant stovetop stuffing. We also have ingredients. Oh, and these are some turkey drumsticks I'm going to be making as well on the side. But we have some sausage and ground turkey, and both of those are going to be combined to make the stuffing that will go into our stuffed cabbage rolls. Now, I've never shown you how to make cabbage rolls, but tonight I'm going to show you. But after all this is prepared first, because you kind of need the space, and right now they're being taken up by my twice baked potatoes. But once we get all this cleared up, once we get everything prepared, and once we get everything set aside, we're going to show you how to make cabbage rolls. And they are so good and so delightful and such a fine delicacy, but everybody should at least know how to make them so that you can find out for yourself just how good it is. Now, everybody's taste is different. Not everybody likes cabbage. But if you like cabbage or don't mind cabbage, you'll love cabbage rolls, especially when we show you what we do with them. So, I am going to go ahead and continue to prepare all of this great luscious food, and you are going to sit at home watching us and drooling at the mouth every single minute of the way. But I can't help myself. I love making great food, and I love giving ideas to the viewers, that's you guys, for your holiday meals. With the potatoes, we're going to wait until our ham is finished, and throughout the hour we're going to keep basting our ham in every 15-minute intervals, and then once that is done we're going to set the ham aside and work on our potatoes. While we're working on the potatoes, we're also going to be putting together our green bean casserole, and I'm going to show you from start to finish how to do cabbage rolls. So tune in when that time comes, and we're going to have us a meal fit for 10 kings and their daughters and sons. Let's hope we don't have that many people over here tonight. Keep your fingers crossed. Ooh. I'm sprinkling Chef Paul. I'm sprinkling Chef Paul. What a wonderful seasoning. I give it my all. It smells really good. Now we're talking turkey, and we're talking Chef Paul Prudhomme. I guarantee he knows how to make seasoning. And a perfect substitute for ham for people who aren't fans of ham. What we're going to do with this turkey is we got 3 drumsticks now covered with Chef Paul Prudhomme seasoning, nothing else. That's all we need to do. The turkey will have its own juices, and we're going to seal in the flavor by covering tightly with aluminum foil, the heavy-duty kind. The heavier the duty, the more all of that moisture and freshness and flavor is going to get locked in. That's right. So what we're going to do is cover this up real good, and we are really going through that glaze like you wouldn't believe. So this is going to be a nice little addition to our meal, and this is going to go on the top shelf of the oven.
Ooh, sizzling.
Oh yeah, it is. Look at that down there. Now some of the pineapple rings, like I said before, are starting to fall off, and a couple others decided to fall off as well. So if you can take a look down here and see how well our ham is coming along, you notice how nice and beautiful red it is? That's from the glaze.
Ooh.
But we ain't done yet. No, we ain't. So now we got the ham in, we got the turkey legs in, and we are just waiting for it. Now, wait till you try this at home. This smell will tantalize you and make you drool. I swear it will. Especially if you make the glaze like I showed you in that video. The only difference with this glaze, and if you look, nice and thick, see how thick it is? Look how you can swirl it around. You can notice how thick it is. Look at that. And this is made with nothing more than pineapple juice, a little bit of maraschino cherry juice, 1 cup of brown sugar compacted, and a nice dab of honey, and 2 tablespoons of butter. And that combined will make a nice, thick glaze. And will color your ham a beautiful, bright red. And when that ham gets a little bit more cooking, that glaze is going to run right into the juices, and when you're out of glaze, that's when you take the juices and you mix it together with the glaze, and you braise it over your ham with that. And for the final half hour, that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to wait another 15 minutes so we can put on our final glazing of this stuff, and then for the final 2 15-minute intervals, we're going to use the drippings mixed with the glaze to give it a nice brownish color. It'll be a brownish color, but it will be delicious. The pineapple rings will be scrumptious, and along with the maraschino cherries, cloves, and everything else, just all combined together will make the perfect ham, I guarantee it. But it all depends on what you like, what you don't like. And this is the way we all like to do ham. And then after all of that, we still got our ingredients to make our cabbage rolls, our stuffed cabbage rolls. And we're going to show you exactly how to do that with this stock pot. This stock pot is going to be responsible for cooking up all of our cabbage leaves, and then We are going to cook that absolutely last. First, we're going to season our beef and our sausage there. We're going to mix it all together. We're going to season it, and then when all that's done, we're going to cook our cabbage leaves. And cabbage leaves only take about 10 or 15 minutes to cook. And then once they're boiling and once they're nice and, well, still a little bit crispy, but still got a nice tender side to it, you want it in the middle. You don't want it too crispy. You don't want it too soggy, because that ain't going to taste good. And if it's too crisp, then it's not going to roll good. We want it to be just right there in the middle. And so 10 or 15 minutes boiling, we'll do that cabbage up just nicely. We're cooking now. This is the green bean casserole with cream of mushroom soup and some milk mixed in. And we're able to get by with just one can, barely, but we can do it. Filled out this casserole dish just nicely. So basically what we've done was we've emptied an entire can of beans, French cut green beans, into the casserole dish, and then we've dumped about 3 cans of cream of mushroom soup and added just enough milk to make it nice and thin but not too runny. Still want it kind of thick. And we mixed everything together into what you see here. So we're going to take this lid, place it over the top of that. We're going to slide it into the oven. And while we're at it, let's check on our ham. We've used up all of our glaze. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this to 180 degree angle. Place you right next door. There we go. Okay, slide it, slide it. Oh, you're not going to go in there, are you? Well, we could just do without the top then. We can just do it without the top. Okay, you can do it with or without the top. Let's take a look at our beautiful ham. Look at that, folks. Does that look good enough to eat? Ooh, now we're really cooking with this ham. We're going to take our pastry brush and with some of the juices, brush it up onto the ham. Since we've ran out of glaze and it kind of mixed in with the drippings here, this is going to be one moist, delicious, beautiful ham. Be sure to get over the whatever pineapple rings have been able to hang on for dear life. Only 3 of them survived this time compared to our other ham where most of them survived. We're in our final phase of the ham, as you can see, and look at the beautiful color of the front of that ham. That is beautiful. And if you could smell what I'm smelling right now, you'd be drooling.
I wish I could smell what you're smelling.
Well, you soon will. Well, we have our water on the boil here for our stovetop, and we got some extra stovetop we're going to be adding to that mix, so we're going to have a lot of stovetop stuffing. We're going to also put our milk away so that way it doesn't go too warm sitting out. Just put it right there. Okay, our potatoes have moved over here, as you can see, because we really needed the space on top of our stovetop. So it's just a matter of time when everything gets finished, served, and ooh man, I'm breaking a sweat. But that's all in good nature for cooking for the holidays. And I'm all about cooking for the holidays. I go all out for the holidays. Because why not? Your family goes out and they get you Christmas presents, they get you birthday presents, and what do you do in return? Say thank you? Not me. I want to do something nice in return for the generosities that are given upon to me. And my generosity is through the stomach, food. And we got plenty of it, let me tell you. So, let's just wait for this water to boil up. We'll mix together our stuffing, get that out of the way. Then we'll get our ham out of the way, start on our potatoes, and we're looking at about 15 minutes of cooking time for our potatoes. Once those are done, we'll pull out the turkey and we'll take a look at the turkey and see how well the turkey legs are doing. And we're also going to check on our green bean casserole, which also, thankfully, doesn't take long to cook. So once everything in that oven is done, everything should be done together, the way we planned it out. The ham goes in first, cook it for an hour, then baste it for an hour in 15-minute intervals. Then you put in, halfway through, you put in your turkey legs, and then a quarter of the way through, you slide in your green bean casserole. That way everything gets done at the same time. Now, only thing that is going to be left is the stovetop, and that takes just an instant to mix together. I mean, it is so quick. You blink your eyes, it's done. That's what I love about that stuff. Is there anything else we have to make? Yes, the cabbage rolls. The cabbage rolls I'm going to show you in a separate section. Everything else will be done, and it'll just be a matter of time for the cabbage rolls, and it's not going to take long either. But for the cabbage rolls, we're also going to need some marinara sauce or tomato sauce. Or if you have pasta sauce, that'll work too. I think we have all three. So we'll be showing you how to do that in just a moment. So join us when we're ready to pull everything out and start on the cabbage rolls. Come on, water, boil. Come on, water, boil. Come on, water, boil. Come on, water, boil. The boil chant usually works. That's a lot of stuffing. So what we're going to do is we're going to gently fold and push our stuffing into that water. What do you say we take it off the boil too? That'll also help. Ooh, that's hot. That handle is hot. Because the oven is going, the stovetop and the range is going. Everything's heating up in this kitchen nicely. It makes it feel like summertime. So we're just going to push the dry down to the bottom and the moist up to the top. Continue to stir until all that water is soaked in, and look, instant stuffing. Look at that. And we don't have to glaze that anymore because that is almost ready to come out. You don't want to overcook your ham either, because then it'll start to turn black and it'll dry. No matter how many times you baste it, it's still going to come out dry. So you want to cook it just in between there. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull out our ham right now because it is ready. And I can't wait to dig in to this beautiful, luscious, juicy ham. Look at that. Now that's ham. That is how you do ham, ladies and gentlemen. That is ham. Now, next, let's take a look at our turkey. And we're going to leave, since we just put that in there, we're going to leave our green bean casserole. Let's put that down here in the bottom here now, right in the middle. That way it'll cook a little faster. And we're going to turn up the heat on that to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to turn up the heat on that just a bit. As we pull back our foil, take a look at how our turkey turned out. See how far along we are. Looks good so far, and it smells good too. Amazing. All right. So after we've cooked it, covered, usually that would be, if that were, on the turkey, you'd see a lot of drippings. But hardly, since we're just using the drumsticks, there's going to be a little less drip. Can we have the onion, please? Hey, magic! French's onion. And when you add it to your green bean casserole, it'll taste even more magical. But you don't want to add this while it's baking, because then your French's onion won't be as crispy as it should be. It'll be soggy. Blech. Who wants soggy French's onion? It's supposed to be crunchy and crispy. So let's check up on our butter. See if it's melted down a little, and sure enough it is. Alright, just mix that in, help it melt the rest of the way. And all it needs, I feel like I'm like a painter working on an easel mixing the paint, Okay, now we're going to take the butter and we're just going to paint some happy little trees on our turkey legs. I feel like Bob Ross already. Now what you want to do is just kind of, now since the seasoning is pretty much already set in, you can actually brush the butter right like that, right over it, and you don't have to worry about losing any of that seasoning. Just kind of dab it on as you brush, kind of like that. And just, oh yes, this is going to be real good. Chef Paul Prudhomme, eat your heart out. I guarantee this is the way to go when you're making turkey. So now we're talking turkey. Now we're going to give it some extra crispiness and color by cooking the rest of the way uncovered, because you only want to cover it just a little bit as it bakes. But once it's cooked through and through, that's when you remove it, add the butter, and we're going to talk nice, beautiful color, nice crispiness, and let it bake some more at 400 degrees Fahrenheit since we turned up the temperature. So you got to really watch what you're cooking. As for the ham, we're going to let this sit here and admire its sheer juiciness. Can't wait to dig into that ham. I'm telling you, that ham is calling my name, and I'm answering it. But so as excited as I am about making food, I'm about as equally as excited about eating the food, and so will you. All right, our green bean casserole is finito. Look at that. Let me bring it up here so I can show you. There it is. Despite the fact we only had one can of beans for the rest of that cream of mushroom soup, it's still going to be a pretty good casserole. So we recovered from that just beautifully. There's going to be a little more soup than there will be beans, but that's okay. Let's check the turkey. Up under the light here and see how it's browned. Nicely browned. And look how the meat's starting to come off the bone there. That chicken there, that turkey is pretty much ready. And look at the juices that came out of there too. And then look, sprinkle our French's onion right over the top of that. Go from end to end. Get plenty of it on top there, and as it cools down, then the soup mixture will harden slightly, and the French's onion on the top will just sit right on top there like that. Now, what we're going to need is a nice sized skillet to mix all of this up in. Let us combine our sausage and our turkey together. Now we come to making the stuffing for our stuffed cabbage rolls. And what we got here is about 1.5 pounds ground turkey and about 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds of sausage. This is going to make a lot of mixture. So this will be a good combination of different types of meats going into your stuffed cabbage. So we're going to break this down as it browns. What we're going to use is we're going to return to our friend Chef Paul Prudhomme once again and use some of his poultry magic. Why poultry magic? Why not? Just give it a generous amount like that, and we will now have seasoned beef. You can use pretty much any type of seasoning from Chef Paul Prudhomme to just salt and pepper if you want to, or a little paprika, or you can use some pizza seasoning, Italian seasoning, the list goes on and on. And what we're going to do to prepare our cabbage, we're going to cut this end off right here and just cut the base right off of it, and then we're going to cut a V shape into the bottom. And that will help loosen up the cabbage leaves, so that way when they boil, they'll also separate. So we're going to bake these potatoes a second time. After they've been mixed together, restuffed, and cheesed, they'll go in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes, or until the cheese is nice and melted. Here it is, homemade marinara sauce. Perfect. So we're going to set that aside, wherever we can find it. Don't worry folks, that's just water vapor, you see. And we're going to cut the base right about here. So take a look at this, just sawing back and forth. Being very careful not to saw back and forth anything else. Okay, very careful. There we go. Base is cut off. Now, notice that some of the leaves will be already leaving its nest. So what we're going to do is cut a V shape in the bottom, right around where your base is. When that water is boiling, we're going to throw in our cabbage leaves and let them boil for about 10 minutes. And you want to throw it in when the water is boiling. You don't want to throw it in as it boils, because then it's going to take longer and your cabbage leaves is just going to sit there in that water and get soggy. You don't want soggy leaves. So wait till it boils, then put your cabbage in, boil for 10 to 15 minutes or until desired consistency is reached. And then we're going to remove it, drain it, stuff it, and then top it. Oh, and then bake it for a little while too, because we're using marinara sauce right from the jar. We're not going to do anything special to it, just marinara sauce. And we're going to pour that over with a spoon, bake it for about 10 minutes, just to get the sauce cooked. And then when that's done, you're going to be into some really tasty victuals. It's going to be so scrumptious and so delicious. You're going to want to make this again and again. And if I was able to help give you some ideas to make some really good meals this holiday season, or even next holiday season, I find that just the compliments that I need. So give them a try, see what you can come up with for your next holiday meal, and invite the whole family, invite your friends, invite people you don't even know. Hey, more the merrier, right? And the more food you have, the more you have to go around. That's the way I look at it. Have Pyrex, will travel. So this is what we're going to put our cabbage rolls in. Nice big Pyrex dish. Perfect size for it too. There you go. So come back after we're done boiling the cabbage leaves. We're going to show you how to stuff them, and then roll them, and then top it with sauce and bake it. And then for 10 minutes we'll pull it out and everything will be done, and we'll have our final presentation and a taste test. So stay tuned for that. Cabbage leaf should be nice and firm yet still
Pliable, huh?
Yeah, pliable, so that you can stuff and roll. And it's going to be kind of tricky to roll because you got to stuff it and then roll it and tuck in the sides here. Now it's probably best too to kind of remove the ends, because sometimes you don't get the hearts removed. You got to remove that end because that prevents it from being tucked in on that side. So take a spoonful of your meat mixture and we're going to place it in the center of our cabbage, about like that much, maybe a little less than that, but we'll see. And then you just take the two ends here, tuck them in, and roll the rest of it up just like this. And this is a stuffed cabbage roll. Now we'll come over here to our pan and place it right there. Okay, so just do like we did before, cut that tough part off, and then with your leaf, just take a nice size amount of meat, put it right there. Now we're going to tuck in the ends like we did before and roll it up and around, seam side down. The weight of everything will hold that seam right in there in place, and go for a third leaf. You can see now all of our rolls are underneath all the rest of that meat. And what we're going to do with the rest of the meat is just top it over our cabbage rolls. And now we're just going to reach for our marinara sauce, our jar of marinara. We're just going to pour it right over until it's all coated. We're going to use the entire jar. Coat your cabbage rolls evenly and completely with marinara sauce. Meat will add extra flavor and ingredient. And we're going to place this in the center of the rack of the oven. Let it bake for 10 to 15 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And then once that's done, once everything is done out of the way, we'll be sitting down to eat. We started this at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It is now almost 11 o'clock at night. So this is how long all of this took to make, prepare, bake, cook, the whole 9 yards. I think we have something. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, look at that bubble. It seems to have separated, a little watery underneath and a little tomatoey on the top, but that's okay, it'll taste just as good. We are ready to serve. Turn the oven off. Don't leave behind the sauce, that's the best part. Okay, do it like that. That's much, much more like it. There we go. Yeah, if that happens, dude, just take some of the sauce with the meat, just pour it right over the top of that, because chances are the sauce will separate, may separate, and if that happens, just take some of the sauce from the bottom and just top it over like that. Okay, and don't forget the canister of Parmigiana.
The best ingredient ever.
Cheese, of course.
Cheese is very important.
We'll get some green bean casserole with the French as onion on the top. Next to that, there we go. Come on up, come on up. There we go. Alright, now come over here for the ham. And I got a nice thick slab of ham to go on the side of that. And, not to be forgetting, pineapple slice and cherry, of course. You gotta have the garnish to go on top of that ham. But preferably without the clove. 1, 2, 3. And there we have our meal. Look at that. All of that food fit on one plate. Amazing. Now, I will have everybody else serve themselves. For cooking, holiday cooking with SonicBlu, may all of your meals turn out to be just as delicious, because remember, if you're not cooking good, you're not eating good. So definitely cook good to get the best results for your food. And may your holiday meals be just as good as this. We're going to take our pastry brush. Where did it go? Amongst this stuff is our pastry brush. Oh, it's over here. As the butter melts. It sounds like a soap opera, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
As the butter melts and the world turns and people at the General Hospital are filling up and having affairs behind their doctors' backs. Of course, isn't General Hospital no longer about a hospital? It's just about people. It used to be, General Hospital back in the day, used to be about people who worked in a hospital and had affairs. Now, I don't see a hospital. I just see people having affairs. But that's pretty much the same with any soap opera. If you think about it, soap operas are all about people having affairs. It gets to be where you can't tell the difference between As the World Turns, or General Hospital, or All My Children, or All My Affairs. I have no idea. As excited let me try that again. We're getting there. We are getting there faster than you can shake a stick at it. Let me tell you, this is going to be so tasty, so scrumptious. You're going to make the one. You're going to make. I'll try again. And so, when. I'm glad I can talk today. Hey, this meat mixture smells good, especially with Chef Paul Prudhomme mixed into the mix. Well, not him. I mean his seasonings. I don't want to mix Chef Paul in here. We love Chef Paul Prudhomme.